Have you ever convinced yourself your relationship was falling apart, only to discover your partner was simply busy? You send a text, an hour passes and no reply. At first you don't think much of it, but then your mind starts racing. Did I say something wrong? Why haven't they replied yet? Or they seemed a bit quieter this morning. Before long your heart is pounding, you've checked your phone 10 times, and you've imagined a full argument that hasn't even happened. Then finally you get a response, and it's instant relief. If you've ever experienced this, you are not alone. This could be relationship anxiety. Be sure to stay until the end of the video to find out why your brain reacts this way, why these thoughts feel so real, and how recognizing the pattern is the first step towards changing it. Welcome back to Inside Aromacee. I'm Celia Veronica Paul. Let's start with something fundamental. Caring about your relationship isn't a flaw. If someone matters to you, naturally you'll care about how they feel. Relationship anxiety is different. It's when your mind gets trapped in a cycle of constant doubt, even when there's no real evidence that anything is wrong. For example, you might worry that your partner is upset, losing interest, or on the verge of leaving. The problem is these thoughts don't feel like possibilities, they feel like facts. That's why relationship anxiety can feel so overwhelming. From a CBT perspective, this is important because the way we interpret a situation can influence how we feel and how we respond to it. The situation might simply be, my partner hasn't replied, but the interpretation becomes, they're ignoring me. And that thought can trigger anxiety, which then influences what you do next. So why do our brains do this? Well, our brains hate uncertainty. When information is missing, they naturally fill in the blanks. Normally that's helpful, but when anxiety takes over, the brain fills those gaps with worst-case scenarios. So instead of thinking they're probably busy, your mind says, what if they're ignoring me? In CBT, we might describe some of these patterns as unhelpful thinking styles. For example, jumping to conclusions or catastrophizing, where the mind moves quickly from one small piece of information to the worst possible outcome. Nothing has changed except the story your brain created. Your brain is telling you a story. But if it's a story, why does it feel so real? Well, because your brain has one core job, to keep you safe. It has an ancient built-in alarm system designed to spot danger, and thousands of years ago, that danger was a predator. Today, it might be a delayed text message or a subtle shift in someone's tone. The alarm system can't always tell the difference between a threat to your physical safety and simple uncertainty. So it reacts. Your heart races, your stomach tightens, your mind fixates. It's like having a smoke alarm so sensitive, it goes off every time you toast bread. The alarm isn't broken, it's just oversensitive. Your brain is simply reacting to uncertainty as if it were an emergency. So where does this come from? Well, for many people it roots back to past experiences. Maybe you've been hurt, faced emotional unavailability, or experienced betrayal and rejection. Over time your brain learned to stay on high alert. It isn't trying to make your life difficult, it's trying to protect you from getting hurt again. But as a result, it begins spotting danger where none exists, making a delayed reply feel like a major crisis. And sometimes, what you're reacting to in the present isn't just a present moment. Your brain may also be responding to what it has learned from the past. So, if you take one thing away from today's video, let it be this. Relationship anxiety doesn't mean you're broken. It means your brain has become hyperprotective. The good news is, what the brain learns to do can also unlearn or do differently. Understanding the pattern is where change begins. The next time you notice your mind filling in the silence, try pausing for a moment and asking yourself, what do I actually know, and what is my anxiety telling me? You don't have to immediately believe every thought your mind produces. Sometimes the most powerful step is simply learning to notice the difference between what happened and the story your anxiety has created about what happened. In the next episode, we'll explore why asking for reassurance feels so comforting in the moment but never seems to last. And could seeking reassurance actually be the very thing that's keeping a relationship anxiety alive? If you found today's video helpful, please like, subscribe and share it with someone who might find it helpful. Thank you so much for listening. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time on Inside Aromacee.